Welcome back to the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Soderbergh Merkel. Here to the coast today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, in this video, we'll be doing another edition of our NFL regular season predictions. This time, predicting the Week 7 matchups of the NFL season. But before we get started, we can go ahead and review our results from last week. So starting off this past week, really good, solid week. Bounce back week, you could say, by the boys. After all of us going 500 or worse the week before this time, we all got at least 11 of our predictions correct. So starting off first, we got me. I went 11-3, bringing my regular season total to 45-31. We have Joe, just ahead of me, going 13-1 on the week, bringing that total up to 45-31 as well. So now me and Joe are tied at second place because Aaron, with a perfect 14-0 week in week 6, brings his regular season total up to 47-29.
Just the guy right there.
And takes a commanding lead in the Swivel Chair Sports regular season prediction standings.
I can't wait for it to last 1 week and me to be in last at the end of this one. So
Yeah, that's what happens when the favorites win. You know what I mean?
That's true,
You
yeah.
have to
When
pick
the
a
people
few.
that are supposed to win actually win, yeah.
yeah, if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think.
Especially since we have somebody who, please don't take this as gambling advice ever. Do never take us as gambling advice. But if you want some at least good indications, we got a guy who went perfect 14-0 over here. But again, he is not liable for any gambling losses that you suffered by taking his predictions under consideration. On
But
with
if you
the
do
video.
win, we'll take some.
But if you win, then yes, he does.
Just tell your friends. Tell your friends.
On to the video. All right, so starting off with the Week 7 matchups, we got a Thursday night football matchup where Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos take on his old team and the New Orleans Saints. This matchup taking place, I believe, down in Louisiana, in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken. I think I'm going to go... Oh, please don't bite me in the ass for the second week in a row, Denver. I'm going to go the Broncos. Sean Payton so far this year is undefeated against NFC South teams, beating the Panthers. I know that's not really much to say about that one, but he did beat the Bucs. Has a little bit of a edge over the NFC South teams, you might say. And I think when it comes to the Saints, they're kind of in free fall right now. Defense hasn't been really good at all this season. Offense, since Derek Carr went down, and even before that, has really taken a step back. Can't seem to score against good defenses. Last time they played one was probably the Chiefs, so it's been a little bit. But yeah, I think Denver's defense is just going to be too much for the Saints to be able to score on, especially if Derek Carr's out, which I'm assuming he's going to be. If Spencer Rattler's starting, I definitely think Denver should be considered as the favorite in this matchup. But even with Derek Carr, I think Denver could come away with this win. So give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos and Sean Payton to beat up on his old team as well. Derek Carr's listed as doubtful as of right now, so I think all signs are pointing towards another Spencer Rattler start. And yeah, kind of like you said, I think that Denver defense is going to be too good, and Sean Payton's got to beat on his old division.
You guys already made the point about Derek Carr, but it's not looking too hot for Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed as well.
Oh, I forgot Olave got hurt.
He was out a knee injury, and Olave had a concussion, which I would be surprised for him to be cleared by a Thursday night game. So
yeah, probably not. Patrick Surtain too, though.
There. Yeah,
he got a concussion.
Either
too.
way, either way, I'm going with Denver too. I'm going with you guys.
Yeah. No, I had forgotten about the concussion issue.
I forgot about both teams too.
But Next, we got the New England Patriots taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in what's going to be the second straight week for the Jaguars over in London. Um, this time taking on a team that's probably much more inferior to them than what the Bears were. However, with Drake May starting under center, they seem to have a little bit more life, a little bit more of a threat down the field, obviously, with his deep ball throwing ability, as opposed to Jacoby Brissett, who really can't seem to throw the ball past 10 yards downfield. So, Patriots maybe could present a little bit more of an edge with Drake May than they would have previously with Jacoby Brissett. But I do think the Jacksonville Jaguars eventually have to get it going if they're going to be, not a complete laughingstock this season. Trevor Lawrence has looked better these last couple weeks. Despite losing last week, he did look okay. I don't think Christian Kirk or anybody in the receiving corps is going to get traded, because that would require them taking a plane all the way across the pond by themselves, and I think the teams would have to pay for that, and I don't see a team paying for that. So, I think the Jags win this game, and that defense isn't going to... Honestly, I think the Jags defense might look better than it has all season because they're playing the Patriots. So, give me Jacksonville.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I mean, Etienne's listed as doubtful. He left last game with a hamstring injury. They still got Tank Bigsby, who's been solid enough. Drake May is kind of the wild card in this one. Had an okay start last week. Didn't really show a whole lot of promise till kind of late in the game. I think I favor Jacksonville. I'll go with the experienced quarterback, especially over there in London, with them staying over there a little bit more used to the time change by now. So I'll go with Jacksonville as well.
I don't want to pick New England. Just wouldn't be surprised to see that defense give Jacksonville some real problems. Man, that's tough. Oh, you give me New England.
I like
Why
it.
not?
All right, nice.
I agree. I should be going with you guys because I agree. All the points you guys made, I 100% stand by. But Drake May got none to lose at 1-5 versus a not good Jacksonville defense. Let's see what happens. Him and Kendrick Bourne hook up for probably a touchdown or two.
I would not be surprised at all if the Patriots just come out and absolutely stump the Jaguars.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Next, we got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Atlanta Falcons. One team is on fire as of late in Atlanta. The other team has really hit a rough patch with 3 straight losses after starting the season off 3-0 with the Seattle Seahawks. But should be a high-scoring game, I'd imagine. Both teams have absolutely no defense to speak of. Outside the Falcons' 2 safeties, that's really about it in this entire matchup. And I guess Byron Murphy maybe on the Seahawks side of things. But, yeah, not great defenses on either side. Somewhat explosive offenses for the Seahawks and definitively explosive offense for the Falcons. So I do expect them to put up the points. But I think I'm going to take Atlanta here. They just seem to be clicking much higher level than the Seahawks are right now. And I think that Seahawks defense is significantly worse than the Falcons, despite the Falcons not being great either on that side of the ball. So I've probably got Atlanta winning something like 38-24 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Seattle's defense has just been abysmal. And that offense has really been the only reason that they've been in a lot of games this season. So I've got a little bit more faith in the Falcons defense, a little bit more faith in Cardiac Kirk to sort of lead that squad to a close victory. So I'll go with Atlanta.
Heck yeah, Kirko Chains!
Kirko Chains.
I'm rocking with.
That's right. Atlanta looks really good right now. Them and the Bucks are going to be it's going to be fun to see those 2 battle for the division down the stretch. Because Baker Mayfield
ATL too, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that last game when the dude recorded. There was a fight going on behind him. And he flipped
Yeah.
the page. I mean, hey, ATL jumping like that is gonna be a crazy one.
Next, we got the lowly Tennessee Titans taking on the Buffalo Bills, who Bills with a little bit of bounce back, beating the Jets after losing 2 straight to the Ravens and the Texans in pretty bad fashion, those 2 games. So should get a lot easier matchup here in Tennessee. Should be able to beat down on them a little bit more. I expect the Bills to run away with this one, especially with the addition of Amari Cooper, who should, I would think, by Sunday be ready to suit up for them. Maybe not, but he should be. And yeah, trying to fit him in. They couldn't pick a better team to try to acclimate him into the system against, because they're going to have a very large room for error against Will Levis, who may end up coming up with the next stupidest play I've ever seen. So give me Buffalo.
Yeah, I'll take Buffalo as well. I mean, they've really only lost to the 2 good teams that they've played. They've just kind of beaten up on everybody else. So I think they're still somewhat improving. I am concerned about their rush defense, but the Titans' offense is almost non-existent at times. Do have a good defense, so this should be a good test. Another good test for the Bills, as they just faced the Jets, who also have a good defense, but sort of a get right game after that ugly penalty ridden game against the Jets. So I'll take Buffalo as well.
And it's at home, so yeah, Buffalo for sure.
Next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Cleveland Browns, an AFC North matchup between 2 doo-doo franchises right now. The Browns just traded off their best receiver in Amari Cooper and decided to double down and say that their Deshaun Watson gives them the best chance to win. Not sure about that one, Chief. Whereas the Bengals, on the other hand, kind of turning things around a little bit. Started off 1-4. Picked up another win last week against the lowly New York Football Giants. But the offense has never been the problem this year. And to be quite frank, the Browns' offense presents absolutely zero threat, despite playing a dismal Bengals defense. So give me Cincinnati. They should be able to just run up the score on Cleveland and keep it out of reach for the most part.
Yeah, this game could get ugly fast. Now, granted, it is a AFC North matchup, so
True.
anything goes in those. But the Browns have just shown absolutely no fight on the offensive side of the ball. So I agree with you. It should be a fairly comfortable win for the Bengals.
I could care less about this game. Couldn't care less at all. But with that being said, the Browns are just absolutely horrible. The Panthers were able to put up 24 points on Cincy, and the Panthers, I think, I would argue with anyone with Andy Dalton, has a better offense than Cleveland. And so with that being said, yeah, there's no way the Browns got that.
Next, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Green Bay Packers. A battle between the 2 teams I thought would be 1 seeds in their respective conferences by the end of the season, and would you looky there? Could end up happening with the Texans being 5-1, the Packers being 4-2, but should be a really fun game. 2 young up-and-coming quarterbacks in Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. 2 great receiving cores between these 2 teams. 2 up-and-coming defenses between these 2 teams. They're kind of mirroring each other, I feel like, between the AFC and NFC. Very similar makeups, very similar teams. So really tough one to pick here. It's like picking between your 2 children. Which one's my favorite, you know? So, oh man, I think the Packers have shown a little bit more momentum in my eyes. They've also been through a little bit more turbulence than the Texans have, with Jordan Love getting hurt and having to use Malik Willis a couple times, and then Jordan Love coming back. And really their only bad game was against arguably the best team in the league, Minnesota Vikings. So I think the Packers are a really good squad. I think the Texans' offensive line is a little bit concerning, and going up against that Packers defense, I just don't know if the Texans are going to be quite able to get this one done. So, give me the Packers in a really, really close one possession game.
Yeah, this one's almost a toss up for me. Um, the one thing that I have concerns about are Jordan Love's ability to protect the ball. It's like at times he just kind of chucks it up for in hopes for a prayer for a penalty or a spectacular catch from his receiver, and has obviously been picked off a number of times this year. And I think that could be the difference in this game. CJ Stroud um, makes it an emphasis to sort of take care of the ball. Their run game is getting reestablished with getting their starting running backs back. So I think I'll take the Texans in this one.
Kind of like it. Kind of you hit it real spot on, Burke. Like kind of like identical the way that the teams have played and what's been going on. But ooh, that's a real tough one. Jordan Love, I agree with Aaron. He has turned the ball over, but he also has 10 touchdowns in 3 weeks since coming back too. I mean, give me Houston. I think their defense is a little more stingy. Although Green Bay's running game with Josh Jacobs too. I mean, this is going to be a good game. You have the running games are identical to each other. The quarterbacks are identical, so this could be fun. This could be real fun. But I'll try Houston for a little upset. I don't know who's favored though.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize that I said the Packers have really only played one bad game. So have the Texans, I guess, obviously. Only one loss on the year. Ironically, both of those were against the same team in the Minnesota Vikings. So, yeah, it's going to be... This is probably going to be one of the most fun games to watch of the year so far, hopefully, if it lives up to expectations.
It's a toss-up. Either way,
Yeah.
I don't blame you for the Green Bay pick.
Green Bay is favored.
I need to get a game back on Aaron, so. Next we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Two teams whose quarterbacks can never stay healthy. However, the Colts supposedly are getting their starting quarterback in Anthony Richardson back. Whether or not that makes them a better team or not in the present day, probably debatable, to be honest. Probably debatable whether they'd win with Joe Flacco versus Anthony Richardson. But the Dolphins...
It doesn't make them better, but it needs to happen for them to be better in the future.
Exactly. So, however, the Dolphins...
Would he not benefit from just watching a veteran like that?
He did get kind of thrown into the fire immediately, too, but then he got hurt immediately. So
he hasn't played a whole lot of football. He needs to play football.
That is the difference with him.
You think he's a guy you think he needs to play? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he hardly played in college, too. That's the problem. He hasn't really played since high school consistently. But regardless, Dolphins, obviously Tua's not going to be playing. They've just another season of them just getting banged up left and right. Tyreek Hill hasn't really been strong conversations of him being on the move, so I don't think it happens. I definitely don't think it happens before this game. But I also don't see the Dolphins being able to score enough points to keep up with a Colts team that at least has some interesting firepower to work with. Could maybe connect on a couple deep balls with Richardson stepping back in. Obviously, they still have Jonathan Taylor at the running back position. So I'm going to take the Colts in this one. But if Tua was playing, it'd probably be a different story, obviously.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Just because I do have some faith in the Dolphins defense, but man, that offense can look real bad without Tua back there.
Mm-hmm.
Now maybe Huntley, with a couple more weeks in the system, gets a little more comfortable and they're able to do a little bit more. But I think I'm gonna go with the Colts here. Should lean heavily on the run game and just sort of semi-protect Richardson coming back off this injury.
Yeah,
Um,
no read options, no QB design run. Like that's what got him hurt in the first place. Just take a week off of that at least, please, for the love of God.
It'll be
at
3 of
the
the first 5
very,
plays.
very least, an emphasis on sliding this week.
Yeah, something
Um,
like do something different.
we need you to play. So I'll take the Colts begrudgingly in this one.
I'm going Indy.
Next, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Minnesota Vikings, an NFC North matchup between the two best teams in the division. Could be the two best teams in the conference on top of all that, too. So, should be pretty interesting. Probably the Viking. Well, I was about to say, it's probably the Vikings' first big test. They've played the Niners and the Texans and the Packers. I mean, they've played just about everybody good at this point in that conference. So, it's really not their first big test. They've had plenty at this point, and the Vikings seem like they're legit, at the very least on the defensive side of the football, and probably everywhere on the offense outside of quarterback, where there still may be some questions about Sam Darnold. But the Detroit Lions took a big blow, and Aiden Hutchinson out for the year, presumably. I would guess broke his tibia, and it was a pretty nasty one. So I don't expect him to play in this game. Suffice it to say, could be an advantage.
Over here.
I'm not a doctor, but I don't think
he might be out next week.
I don't think he's playing this game.
Out there on a peg leg, just
Yeah.
amputation below
Yeah,
the
they
knee.
just amputated it. That's
Give
what they
him
did.
a scooter riding around.
No, I'm stalling because I really don't know who to pick in this one. The Vikings obviously have a little bit more experience, have been here longer. The Lions, I mean, have a little bit more experience and have been here longer. The Vikings are a little bit new to this whole being good thing, or at least legitimately good thing. I think I'm going to go the Vikings, and the reason I'm going to go the Vikings, one, I believe it's at home, and two, I think that pass rush is going to be able to disrupt Jared Goff enough to knock him off his block, make him a little uncomfortable, and yeah, I think the Vikings are gonna move up to 6-0 on the season.
Yeah, kind of like you said, it's a tough one. The way I was thinking is, if Aiden Hutchinson was still there, I would definitely go with the Lions.
Probably a different story.
Him unfortunately missing the remainder of at least the regular season.
Definitely this week.
Yeah, definitely will be out this week. Throws it a little more into question. Lions' run game is just absolutely dominant. The things they're able to do with that O-line is just absolutely disgusting and hilarious at the same time. Vikings are really good when they get up early. They allow that pass rush to get after it and put pressure on the quarterback. So I think I will go with the red hot Lions in this one. I think that run game is just going to be a little too good for the Vikings. This is going to be a real fun test for them. And that defense there, how well they are able to stop the run.
You guys both put up good points. With my expectation of Aiden Hutchinson probably being out next week, or at least the next couple weeks.
It's a rally game. You got to rally around your guy.
He might come back. We don't know. But my guess is as good as your guys' is apparently. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna take Minnesota. I was riding with them earlier in the season. I am a little kind of skeptical coming off the bye week, but I also look at it as that like a bye week to get healthy, make sure that's another week with Addison's ankle being healed up after playing. Sam Darnold was banged up going into the bye. I mean, no one's shown that they can stop that offense yet either, so this could very likely just be a shootout and be whoever gets the ball last.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I do have concerns about this Lions secondary against the Vikings. So I
The
would not be
Vikings or the
surprised at all if the
Lions,
Vikings would.
they're hot right now though, so like it's hard to not go with the momentum that they have. But if there's anybody that can stop it though, at a halt in one game, it would be Minnesota at this point in the season.
Yeah. Are they both? I guess they're both. Are they both coming off buys or no? Because the Lions just beat the shit out of the Cowboys. They basically had a bye. They basically had a bye.
They had a
Yeah.
bye. A whole lot of backups got some
Yeah.
burn this weekend.
Next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New York Football Giants in an NFC East matchup that could be a little sneakily closer than I think a lot of us had predicted earlier in the year. The Philadelphia Eagles haven't looked great this season. Jalen Hurts has been turnover prone, to say the least. Nick Sirianni seems to be letting the pressure get to him a little bit, screaming at his own fans after barely beating the Browns. And as for the Giants, they've looked a little bit better than I think we all expected. Daniel Jones specifically has shown a little bit more quality than I think we thought, to an extent at times. That defense is really the main reason why this Giants team is 2-4. That and Malik Neighbors, at least, who hopefully should be back this week. I think that could cause some problems for the Philadelphia secondary. That's still not very good. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I believe, had one play this past week where he literally just stood still and watched the defender run right around him. So, not looking great for that Philly secondary. Man, I really want to pick the Giants in this one.
They're frisky. Got a sneaky good defense.
I
Sexy Dexy really putting pressure up the middle.
Dude, I think
He's going crazy this
Dexter
season
Lawrence,
right
I think,
now.
is up there amongst the sack leaders right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Great sack celebration too.
I think I'm gonna go the Giants, man. Malik Neighbors hopefully gonna be back. Could cause some problems for that secondary. Tyrone Tracy, he's been looking really good, along with Eric Gray as well, on top of all of that. So the running game could be good. Daniel Jones can still tuck it and run as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Jalen Hurts makes one more mistake than Daniel Jones this game and cost him. So give me the Giants.
Yeah, that Giants defensive line has been wrecking havoc, especially against the Bengals last week. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence just doing almost whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. But with that being said, I will put a little faith in the Eagles.
Maybe beat the Browns.
Maybe it's a bit of a revenge game for Saquon Barkley coming back to his old stomping grounds.
Shit.
So that could play a factor on both sides. I think Daniel Jones will make one more mistake than Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to go with the Eagles.
That's probably the more correct way of looking at it, yeah.
I'm just gonna, I'll go Philly on this one.
Yeah, that's
I
probably...
get both your guys' sides, but I can't pick the Giants.
No, I get it. I totally understand. I'm kind of hoping that
If the
division
Giants
rivalry...
win, though, man, those fans are going to be screaming for Sirianni.
What do you think Saquon Barkley was going to start thinking if they end up, losing to the Giants? That would have to be a little bit of a stinger, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't know. He got that paycheck. So
He did get that money.
Yeah.
They weren't willing to pay him that much. So
Next, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Los Angeles Rams. Both teams severely underperforming their fans' expectations. The Rams underperforming everybody's expectations, but mostly due to injury, of course, because their entire team is basically on the IR. The Raiders just trading their number one receiver who hadn't played in the last 3 weeks anyway, so did it really matter? Probably not. Devontae Adams. AOC's under center officially now, I guess. Put up a little bit of a fight against the... Not really. No, they got destroyed by the Steelers last week.
Yeah.
Rams also not look... I mean, man, this is great. I guess I'll go the Rams. I'll just go the Rams because I have more faith in Matt Stafford than I do AOC. And that Raiders defense does not look any semblance of what I thought it would at the beginning of the year. Max Crosby could be out the door soon, maybe. Christian Wilkins obviously out for the season. Yeah, things are not looking good in Sin City right now for the Raiders. So give me the Rams.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when your team doesn't know what they want to do at quarterback. A little bit of a back and forth here, it seems, for the Raiders. Rams, 7-point favorite in this game. I don't know if you knew
That's
that.
it?
I mean, that feels massive for a team that's 1-4 going against a team that's 2-4.
Yeah.
But I think that really says a lot about how the Raiders have been playing and how bad that offense has looked. I'm with you. I have way more faith in Matt Stafford to go out and win a game than I do Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, whatever they throw out there. Just lost their best weapon. So yeah, give me the Rams.
Same.
Next we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Washington Carolina Panthers taking on the Washington Commanders. That just sounds really similar. Last year, this would have been a matchup between two very similar teams, as it would have been a matchup between the worst team in the NFL and the second worst team in the NFL. This year, on the other hand, the Washington Commanders are singing a much different tune, whereas the Carolina Panthers are still dog shit. Commanders probably should win this game. I mean, the offenses look lethal, even though the defense isn't great. I mean, the Panthers can't even score more than 20 on whoever the hell they played last week. So, yeah, Commanders should run it up on them. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Washington scores 40-something this game. Again. Like they have, I think, previously this season. So, coming off especially their toughest test. I mean, going from the Ravens to the Panthers defense is gonna feel like, cranking the batting machine, the pitching machine down from 90 to 70. So, yeah, Commanders all day.
Yeah, the Panthers had a pretty dominant loss last week to the Falcons. I think that's the team I'm looking for.
Yeah, thank you.
It
was a forgettable game.
Yeah. I'll take the Commanders and Jaden Daniels over the struggling Panthers. You kind of touched on it, so not much to say.
Commanders defense hasn't been great. They have good games, then they have bad games, so it wouldn't shock me to see like a close first half. Andy Dalton maybe kind of pop off to the beginning, but yeah, everything you guys said, Jaden Daniels, I think Dan Quinn would make enough adjustments to definitely beat whatever Carolina's willing to put on that field, so Washington easy.
Next, we got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Rematch of Super Bowl. What the hell was the Super Bowl? 57?
59.
A rematch of this previous year's Super Bowl.
In like years ago Super Bowl.
And a few years ago Super Bowl. Yeah, the Chiefs, Niners, known rivals at this point, I guess. Niners haven't beat... Well, I don't know if rivals is really the word, because the Niners can't beat the Chiefs ever since Patrick Mahomes took over at quarterback. I think they're winless in every game. I don't think they've won a single game against the Chiefs since Patrick Mahomes took over. I expect that trend to continue. I expect that trend to continue this week as the Chiefs move to 6-0. The Niners are just a little... I mean, they're still probably going to be out Christian McCaffrey. Could be out their backup as well in Jordan Mason. So it could be down to their third, fourth string running back. Isaac Rindo could get a lot of touches this game, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But I do think the Chiefs' defense is going to be a little too much for them. So, yeah, give me Kansas City.
Yeah, the Chiefs, when they decide to stop the run game, they've been very effective at that this season. Backup running back that is not Christian McCaffrey, aka one of the best, most elite running backs that the NFL has ever seen. I think the Chiefs defense will have success stopping the run game, despite Shanahan's ability to sort of scheme scheme that run game to be devastating and open some pretty big holes. But I think I'll take the Chiefs in this one as well. Good close game.
Oh no,
Yeah,
the Niners will be up
I
10
would-
going into the fourth quarter, and then the Chiefs win.
I would feel a lot more comfortable if the Chiefs had a good receiver.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just have to make do with what we've got.
I'm still gonna go with 15, even with no receivers. I feel like he's gonna figure it out, and he has success against the Niners, aka what Burke was talking about previous years. So yeah, I'm still gonna rock with Kansas City on this one.
Yeah, the Niners just seem to bring out the best in Mahomes, at least in the regular season, because the Super Bowl's his stat lines average. Next, we got the New York Jets taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets, obviously, big news this week as they got their new number one receiver in Davante Adams, clearly indicating that Aaron Rodgers is definitely not the GM of that team. Meanwhile, the Steelers, little bit still questions at quarterback. Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, who are they going to go with? I'm pretty sure they're going to go with Justin Fields again. I mean, they are still 4-2. Got off to a really good start this year. This could be one of Justin Fields' biggest tests so far this season as they takes on a pretty good defense there over in New York. But with them having the home field advantage, I really don't think adding Davante Adams is going to make that much of a difference at the end of the day. I made the comment earlier today with you guys in the group chat. It's going to take them from missing the playoffs by 3 games to now missing the playoffs by 1 game. And I feel pretty confident about that. I don't think the Jets are going to be that much better with Davante Adams added, especially against one of the best defenses in the league in Pittsburgh. So give me the Steelers in this one. I think they get off to a 5-2 start.
Yeah, it's sort of a tough situation for the Jets. Chuck Clark just got put on the injury reserve. DJ Reed is questionable, one of their better corners. So, couple injuries there on that defense, but I still think that they pull it out here against the Steelers. Just that defense is a little too good for Justin Fields and that Steelers offense. This should be, I would imagine, a fairly low-scoring game, with both sides being very good on the defensive side of the ball. Some question marks on the offensive side of the ball. I think the big key for the Steelers here is the Jets. They kind of got run over there in the first half by the Bills, and then the Bills sort of went away from the run game in the second half. So if the Steelers can get that run game going early, then they could have some real success. But I think I'll take the Jets in this one.
You guys make good points. The thing for the Steelers, starting centers out. We got a lot of injuries with all of that. With all that being said, Burke brought up the quarterback controversy. If we didn't have Russell Wilson, this wouldn't even be a conversation. Everybody would be saying Justin Fields is the starter. Justin Fields is the future. Guarantee. Because he's better than anything we've put out on the field. To put into perspective, he has 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 pick. 10 total touchdowns. So rushing and passing. 1,300 total yards. Josh Allen this year has 1,300 total yards, 13 touchdowns.
To put that into more perspective, that's the same touchdowns as Jaden Daniels with 1 less pick.
Wow. I didn't know that. So again, kind of proves my point. If we didn't have Russell Wilson in the background, I think people would be pretty set on a 4-2 Justin Fields for now. At least for the rest of the season. But nonetheless, yeah, that's over the Jets all day.
Yeah, I also got a feeling that TJ Watt gets at least 2 sacks this game because Morgan Moses has looked particularly bad this season with the Jets, and TJ Watt's gonna probably eat that man alive this week.
TJ Watt looks like DPOY again. He had 2 forced fumbles this week.
Yeah, he could be eating good Sunday night. Next, we got our first Monday Night Football matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A game that could be pretty interesting with the Bucs' ability to put up points. However, their defense is so bad that I just don't think they're going to be able to do enough to keep the Ravens from scoring. So the only way they're going to win this game is if they outscore the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens defense is going to let that happen. Baker playing like an MVP right now, but I think this is going to be one of those games similar to the Broncos game this year where he's just a little overmatched. Did have 3 picks last week, after all, against a Saints defense that isn't very good. So I could see him turning the ball over more than he scores this time around. The Ravens probably just grind that defense into dust with that running game. So give me Baltimore.
Yeah. This could be a fun shootout. But I would probably lean a little bit more towards a grounded pound win from the Ravens.
Yeah.
With flashes of Zay Flowers' brilliance. So I'll take the Ravens.
The Ravens have given up a lot of points. I was just looking at their schedule. They've given up
It's like good
20-some
teams,
points
though,
almost
too.
every. They have. That's what. Yeah. Well, the Bengals aren't very good. Shouldn't have no.
Well, the
reason to give up
offense is-
38 to them.
Offense is good.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
Raiders is the one
The
where it's
Commanders
kind of
are
like,
good. Cowboys, that was a wash. So, I mean, all that to say that if it came down to a shootout, I'm still taking Baltimore, but I think they're going to kill the clock and probably run for
Yeah.
another 200-something yards with Derrick Henry and Lamar, and so there
Because-
just won't be enough time in the game for Tampa.
Yeah, especially like against this defense, they're going to be able to just run it down their throat all game long.
Yeah.
So
Derrick Henry might get that record-breaking 200-yard rush game.
honestly,
Be on the lookout for that one.
and then finally we got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. A game that I think could end up being pretty interesting if Call of Duty hadn't just dropped this month. So unfortunately, it's probably going to be a Chargers win. No, all jokes aside, I do think Kyler Murray will have a bounce back game. However, I don't know how much of a bounce back game you're going to be able to have against this Chargers defense right now. This Chargers defense is just too good. Again, they've got 2 of the better edge rushers in the league, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James back in the center or the safety position. I have faith that this Chargers defense is going to be able to contain this Cardinals offense, and then they should just be able to run the clock out. Similar to what I said about the Ravens game, they should just be able to hand it off and just run the clock out against a pretty bad Cardinals defense. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I'll go with the Chargers as well. I think neither of these teams is anything super special on the offensive side of the ball yet, but the Chargers at least have a good defense. So I'll take Herbert and in that offense to score enough points to squeak out a win over the Cardinals.
They might have a little bit better coaching too. So
Yeah.
with that, yeah, I'm going with the Chargers for that one
Do-
too. I don't trust Arizona.
Now, one thing to look out for in this game is Ladd McConkey, because I know he went down and came back in 3 times against the Broncos this past week. So I don't know if it's like a hamstring kind of thing or a calf injury, but Ladd McConkey could be a little bit hampered this week. So that may end up playing an impact. So
He is not listed in the injury report.
okay, well that's a good sign.
What about Bosa? I know he's been questionable.
He's just questionable. There's nothing underneath, so I would
He
I would
played
assume
last
he would
week,
play.
right? I think he played last week.
Yeah, that's probably maintenance.
Unless y'all got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Circleberg-Brickle, here with the coast today, Aaron and Joe. Go and say bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, please make sure to like and subscribe if you made it this far into the video and enjoy our content. Make sure to leave a comment down below with your predictions for Week 7 of the NFL season, and feel free to make fun of our predictions for Week 7 of the NFL season. But other than that, deuces. Have a good day.